Over the past few days, Jack Daugherty's world has started to crumble. New allegations are pouring in after his ex-girlfriend spoke out on a podcast, describing the chaos, manipulation, and emotional hell she says she went through while dating Jack. And as bad as you think it might have been, believe me, it was worse. She talked about manipulation, control, and even substance issues connected to Jack and his circle. It's safe to say Jack Daugherty is more cooked than ever before. So today we're diving deep into the full story behind these claims, the podcast, the patterns, and why Jack's reputation may never recover. At first, I wasn't even going to cover this podcast. It's heavy, it's personal, and clearly McKinley went through a lot. But after watching the entire thing, I realized something wild. So many things we've talked about on this channel before were basically confirmed, and it's important to recognize what she says she endured, while also understanding how far Jack allegedly went to manipulate and exploit her. One of the biggest topics she exposed was how Jack used emotional control to break her down. When they first started dating, McKinley was firm about one thing: she didn't want to start an OnlyFans. Jack even told her that was one of the things he liked about her. He said it made her wife material, someone different from the rest. But as time went on, everything changed.
Michelle walked into the bathroom I was in. I was by myself. And she basically told me, listen, don't freak out, but Jack really wants you to start OnlyFans. And he said that there's no reason for you guys to be together if you're not helping. I broke down in tears. I was like, wow. Everything that he had said to me, like, oh, I know you're my wife because you don't have one. And getting me to go to dinner and try to get me on OnlyFans, but it didn't work. Now it's an ultimatum. He wanted me, when he realized he didn't have the control over me when it came to other people and like what they could say, he realized that he did need to create an ultimatum for me. And that was hard for me, and he knew that. He knew what I felt and how I felt about him and the whole situation. And I was like, let me talk to Jack. Like, I just need to talk to him. I was thinking, you know, if I go and talk to him and just say, you know, this is how I feel about this, like, he'll respect it again. And like, if he sends me home and doesn't want to be with me because of this, then like, I guess it is what it is. But I didn't want to lose that. And that was what I was like prioritizing. It wasn't what I could make on OnlyFans. I had no idea. I had no idea how much money you could make on OnlyFans. I just knew that I really liked this guy. But I remember walking into the room that he was in. He was alone also with one of his employees. And I walked in and they just started laughing because Jack had never brought up OnlyFans to me. So it was like, because he made everyone else do it. Very awkward. Yeah, he made everyone else do it. It's sad looking back on it because that was something I respected. I was like, I respect the fact that he cares about my beliefs and he understands that. After talking to him, I was explaining how this is not in the cards for me, Jack. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, my parents, like, I can't even imagine what they would think if I did this. And he was like, your parents are gonna get over it. Like, they're gonna realize how much money you're gonna make. And I was like, am I though? Like, I had no idea. I was like, am I gonna make money? I don't know. And they were like, you are going to be very well off. They were like, this is going to be the biggest success ever. And Jack was telling me, he was like, you're gonna be, you know, my main girl. Like, we can post together. We can finally act like boyfriend and girlfriend. We can start doing things together. And like, it's not reasonable for you to be in my life if you're not involved in my life.
Jack allegedly started pressuring her to create an account using manipulation to wear her down. And that's what makes this so disturbing, because early on, Jack had claimed to support her decision not to do it. But suddenly, he's taking her to business meetings with people literally saying, forget your morals, why don't you have an OF yet? As if it's some normal business move. Let's be real. If I had to guess, Jack probably told them to bring it up. He wanted that pressure on her. He wanted her to cave. Even when McKinley made it 100% clear she didn't want to, Jack allegedly kept pushing.
I'd met him before. I was like, well, it kind of caught me off guard, especially like coming from an older man. I was just kind of like, that's the first thing you say to me is, why don't you have an OnlyFans? I was like, it's against my morals. That's all I said. I was like, it's just the way I was raised. Like, that's something not in the cards for me. And I'm firm on that. And he said, fuck your morals.
It honestly felt like that was the final straw. Knowing how Jack operates, it wouldn't surprise anyone if this had been part of his plan from the start, slowly manipulating her into believing he was her safety net, the one who'd take care of her emotionally, financially, and physically. But deep down, it seems like he didn't actually care about her or her boundaries. He cared about content. He cared about control. And that's where things got dark.
Conversation, and I just agreed to it. And in my head, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'll have a conversation with him tomorrow, and I'll just be like, listen, I've been thinking about it. I can't do it. Like, that's where my head was at. But I just literally, I wanted to stop the conversation. I was so uncomfortable. I had Michelle and his other employee and him just like telling me how successful it's gonna be. And that was something that I didn't know for sure. I didn't know if like I would start it and then like my parents would never speak to me again. I was fully preparing myself for that. I woke up and that morning he had a contract in hand and he told me to sign it. I didn't even have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it or for any legal representation. He gave me the contract and he basically just said sign it. I read through it and I didn't like how it said, he owns all of my social media accounts because again, I had a following. I had 500,000 followers on TikTok. I had over 100K on Instagram. That was something I had built for years. And that was something that I held very close to me. So I was like, I just want to make sure like in this contract, do you actually own all of my accounts, even the ones that I have? And then he was like, no, the contract means nothing. Like we can change anything, but it's whatever, just sign it. So I signed it, and then first words that came out of his mouth were, "You're now Jack Daugherty's girlfriend."
McKinley says Jack emotionally broke her down until she signed a contract giving him access to her social media accounts, and likely most of the revenue she made from OnlyFans. Think about that. He allegedly acted like a caring boyfriend for over a year just to secure full control over her career. That's not love, that's business disguised as affection. She says Jack lied straight to her face as she signed the papers, manipulating her into what was basically a one-sided deal. He reportedly kept the money and paid her only a small portion. And if that isn't bad enough, Jack's behavior allegedly got even more reckless. He started putting content and views before her physical safety. Everyone remembers the golf cart clip, the one where Jack flipped the vehicle and McKinley ended up seriously injured. Instead of taking accountability, Jack brushed it off, kept streaming, and later showed up at the hospital filming her, saying out-of-pocket things while she was still recovering.
He flipped an entire golf cart on top of me on purpose, and it was for a clip. I know that because he was trying his best to flip it. And you can see in the footage, the only thing that he was looking for was the camera to see if they got it.
Oh, fuck.
I was in so much pain. He thought it was not that big of a deal. I was like, Jack, I need to go to the hospital. I was crying. I couldn't even walk. My back was so bruised up and like my whole entire spine was just bruised. And my neck, it had hit my neck. It literally could have killed me. The way it fell on top of me, it fell on my side. The back of the cart went at the back of my neck and I crunched over and then it hit my back. He said that he thought it broke my neck. And I'm like, if you really thought that and you're like not worried about me, that's insane. When I'm on the way in the Uber and I'm sitting upright, I'm realizing like this is bad. Like I'm in pain. I definitely need to do something. And I walk into the house, everyone is there. They looked at me and were like, we need to go to the hospital, like we'll go with you. So they were kind enough and realized, they watched it live and they were really pissed off at him for acting that way and, not caring about my well-being and not making sure I was okay. And when I went, Jack had met me there and he had a camera. I was so embarrassed because I'm like, I'm in the hospital, you're filming all of these things. He was like, you're the baddest one in the hospital on video. And I was like, I'm just not in the mood for this. But he was filming and they gave me medicine and I went back home. I was in bed for about a week and I was back to normal. But his joke, I guess, of everything, he bought a golf cart the day after it happened and then surprised me with it for a video. And it was like all just a joke and funny to him.
That's not just careless, it's disgusting. We're talking about borderline criminal behavior here. Using someone else's pain as clickbait is beyond low. And the most confusing part, McKinley still stayed with him. Now maybe she couldn't just walk away because of that contract. Maybe she was trapped by the same deal Jack convinced her to sign. But even so, it doesn't erase the fact that he humiliated her in public and prioritized content over compassion. Sadly, things didn't stop there. According to McKinley, they only got worse. After the golf cart incident, things kept spiraling out of control. McKinley said that soon after, she found herself in another terrifying situation, one that could have ended way worse. Jack and his crew were filming in a bus during a wild takeover in Compton. McKinley stayed inside while the chaos unfolded outside, but suddenly, the bus got broken into by a man wearing a ski mask and holding a gun. He also had a giant bag, and McKinley says in that moment, she truly thought she was going to die. And what was Jack's reaction? Not fear, not concern, not even guilt. According to McKinley, Jack was more focused on content, posting about it online instead of comforting her or getting her help.
What the fuck up, Rob? Wait, what'd he do?
I don't know.
Wait, did he take your stuff?
I think.
What the fuck?
Oh no, I said first my bag is to get your fucking bag.
He took your purse?
I don't know.
McKinley, where?
Oh my god.
Where's the key? Where's the key? Okay.
But that was the most real trauma ever. Like it was a noise that had never came out of me before. I was freaking out. Jack was, yelling at me. He was like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like shaking. I'm like, I can't even like explain what happened. I don't know. And it was obviously very, very traumatic for me. And I was like, please shut the cameras off. Like, I cannot, like, please take me off this camera. And he refused.
Why?
But I just started it.
Like, why?
Because this is like fucking great.
Everything's great content for you.
But
I
it
just
happened.
fucking died.
But you're alive. Let's share the story. Come on, I thought you agreed
Fuck
to.
you.
You're
You're
gonna
thinking that's okay.
tomorrow though. You're gonna be so happy
But,
to
like,
record this. You know that.
Maybe record it, but going live again
'Cause it
right
gets
now,
clipped, you're gonna see it on TikTok.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't
does.
fucking matter.
I'm doing this.
For once, please. I'm asking, please.
If we record it, it makes it easier.
He refused to shut off the camera. He refused to stop his live stream. He was laughing about it, saying like, well, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and like you're gonna wake up to all these TikToks and like these viral clips. And I'm like, Jack, I don't care. I'm like, everything is content. Like, I don't know what isn't anymore. Like, even this, like, you can't just feel a little bit of empathy for me after going through that. And he continued his live stream. He didn't listen to me. And I was like, what more does it take for you to just respect me? And what happened to you? What happened to the guy that made me feel safe in the beginning? Like, this was horrible. And now you don't care. And I realized in that moment, I was like, this man doesn't fucking care about me. You don't care.
Imagine that. Your girlfriend sitting there traumatized and you're busy checking your views. After watching the whole podcast, it's so clear. Jack Daugherty never really cared about McKinley as a person. Maybe he cared about the image of her, the content girlfriend, the brand, the engagement bait, but not the human being behind it. He emotionally manipulated her from day one, making her believe he was supportive, while slowly turning her into something he could profit from. Now, some people online are saying, why didn't she just leave? Or she knew what she was signing up for. But it's not that simple. Maybe McKinley genuinely didn't know who Jack was deep down when they met. Maybe she really did fall for him and trusted that he had good intentions. And when you're emotionally attached, contracts, control, and manipulation can trap you faster than you think. That's why this situation is so heavy. Because on the surface, it looks like just another influencer breakup. But when you dig deeper, it's a story about control, power, and emotional abuse dressed up as clout and money. And remember, everything we're talking about here is alleged. None of this has been legally proven, but from what McKinley shared, and from what we've already seen in Jack's past behavior, none of it feels shocking anymore. This guy flipped a golf cart with his girlfriend inside, filmed her in the hospital, pushed her toward creating an OF account she clearly didn't want, and then allegedly took control of her profits. Whether you believe every detail or not, that pattern speaks for itself. In the end, this whole situation isn't just about one toxic relationship. It's about how far creators will go when they start viewing people as content instead of human beings. When your entire life is a stream, everything becomes a performance, and empathy disappears fast. McKinley's story isn't just messy drama, it's a warning, a reminder of how the internet can blur the line between real life and entertainment until someone gets hurt. And to anyone watching who's been through something similar, manipulation, emotional control, or being pressured into things you don't want, please remember, that's not love, that's power disguised as affection. Obviously, these are all allegations. Nothing here is confirmed fact, and both sides deserve fair consideration. But after hearing everything, it's hard not to see Jack Daugherty in a completely different light. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Do you believe McKinley's story? Do you think Jack will ever take accountability for the way he treats people? I highly recommend watching the full podcast for yourself. Part 2 just dropped, but I wanted to break down the biggest moments and show how it all connects to what we've seen before on this channel. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you for sticking through these tough topics. If you made it this far, thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this one, because trust me, more stories are coming soon.